Okay, here we've got the functions question with two functions f and g and their domains. We've got to start by stating, just write down, the range of f. So the range of a function that you've got as a rule with its domain, you need to sketch the graph. So you sketch the graph of f of x, it's a nice easy one, and you think about the range of the y values you can get out, so you think about the y values of this. You might get away with using y to describe the range. You certainly mustn't use the letter x. What they really want to see is f of x and state what set of values that takes by considering the y coordinates possible on your graph. For 1 mark. Re-entry point, of course, in part B. This is looking at the function g. The inverse of that is called g inverse, and we've got to find that. The starting point is normally to say that for g, y is simply what they originally tell you, and then for g inverse, x and y change places. So change the places of x and y, and then work through and make y the subject. And don't forget to write down your final answer that g inverse of x equals that formula you've found. You'll have standard method in your notes, so consult your notes from chapter 3 if you're rusty on that. Then in B.2, another re-entry point, we've got to state the range of an inverse function. Now in this case we don't need a graph, because when we go from a function to its inverse, x and y change places, and so therefore range and domain change places, and look, we have the domain of g of x, which will correspond to the range of g inverse, but we mustn't use the letter x to describe it. We must use the symbol g inverse of x and describe what values that can and can't take. But the answer is essentially this, re-expressed using g inverse of x as the symbol. Then in part C, another re-entry point. We've got a composition of functions here, and the answer's got to be 9. So we've got to set up what f g of x is. So that's f of g of x. And then you've got to correctly apply the function f to g of x. You're going to have some algebra over here equaling 9. And you will always lose marks on 1 call 3 question by forgetting the thing to put in front of your answer when you're taking a square root. So when you go to what the bracket equals, there isn't just one answer, there are 2 answers, so don't lose solutions. Finish it off by correctly and carefully working through your algebra to get 2 different x values.